Well, there's been a few adjustments to the agency in Grand Theft Auto Online, so time to do the math and see if it's still worth it. My name's Dan, and I'm an old grumpy gamer. We've got a lot of ground to cover here. This is one of the more complex businesses in GTA Online, and there's a lot to take in. So we'll break this down into chapters with timestamps in the description below. We'll be going through why you'd want to purchase an agency, your purchasing options, earnings and return on investment. We'll do a quick tour of the agency property, start the first mission, work out the storyline missions, take a look at the security contracts, look at your passive income, your payphone hits, playing as Lamar and Franklin, the wonder of Imani Tech, some of the anti-griefer stuff we've got in here, and agency services along with some pro tips. So, first things first, why on earth would you want to buy an agency? Well, business aside, there's a ton of things the agency offers. Chop, so for fans of story mode, Chop was a highlight with a few missions featuring him. He's a bit of an old pupper now, but look at him, he is awesome. Imani, the master hacker employed by the agency who provides access to anti-griefer vehicle mods called Imani Tech, as well as a number of other handy services. Security contracts. Now these are essentially VIP work on steroids. For what they are, contracts pay out really well and are reasonably straightforward, especially if you own a Sparrow or a Mark II oppressor. Payphone Hits, another free roam VIP work type of caper where you take out a specific target in a specific way for some pretty decent money. The Dr. Dre contract. In a similar fashion to the tuner contracts, this is a great little heist series that can net you a fair wad of cash for each playthrough. Short trips, which are a series of missions that you have playing as either Franklin or Lamar, which is the first time GTA Online has allowed us to play as anyone other than our own player character, let alone a story mode protagonist. Genuinely passive income, and this one more or less speaks for itself. A max setup will net you $20,000 per in-game day or around $25,000 per real-world hour. In addition, the agency itself has an armory where you can purchase discount body armor, weapon and ammo, and that includes Mark II ammo, if you've got some of them unlocked. Free snacks, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself really. They're free and they're easy to refill. A spawn point, which is super handy, especially considering it's right next to the armory and the snack stand. Garage, with 20 additional spaces for standard vehicles. A vehicle workshop, which means it's really convenient to tweak your vehicles. It also includes access to the special anti-griefer stuff put together by Imani. And agency services, which includes cheap access to a chopper, fast travel, use of the company's armored SUV, supply drops, and a funky little take on going off the radar. Suffice to say, this was not a small update. Right, so let's talk budget. To do anything meaningful in the agency business, you need to be a VIP, motorcycle club president, or a CEO. Since VIPs no longer have the restrictions they used to, you no longer need to purchase a motorcycle club or an office, so that's a win. You'll need to purchase an agency through the Dynasty 8 executive website on your phone, starting with the agency itself, where we have 4 distinct locations to choose from. Little Seoul at $2,010,000, Vespucci Canal at $2,145,000, Rockford Hills at $2,415,000, and Harwick at $2,830,000. Each of them has the same capacity and facilities. 20 vehicle spaces with a workshop, an armory, hacker and snacks, access to Chop, and a $250,000 safe. So there's no difference there, nor is there any difference in the passive income, making the only real difference travel distance to the other properties and budget. Next, we have some upgrades, starting with the artwork. The Power and Money set is included in the purchase price, but you can upgrade it to the other artworks for up to $340,000. Wallpaper is next, with the floral pattern being free, but you can spend anywhere up to an additional $442,500 for a fancier finish. Highlights are next. Again, there's a free one, the charcoal in this case, but you can spend up to $100,000 on something a bit different. And next up, the functional upgrades. The armory is a bit of a cost at $720,000, but offers discounted access to weapons, armor, and ammunition. The armor will even sell you Mark II ammo, which is super handy. If you go for this option, you'll also get a gun safe, which helps you manage your loadout. Accommodation is next. Adding personal quarters allows you to spawn at the agency and will set you back $275,000. And finally, the vehicle workshop is a must at $800,000, mainly because it unlocks the Imani Tech mods for select selected vehicles, which is a fantastic set of anti-griefer measures. So that's a minimum spend of $2 million and $10,000 to get you started. But if you can set aside $5 million, you can get yourself a more central location and the functional upgrades. The daily fees are less than $300 too, which is a bit of a change from some of the more complex properties. Assuming it takes you 5 hours to rail through the story for the first time, and then you just redo the VIP contract, which will take around 2 hours depending on your skill level, you'll probably hit break even after around 7 or 8 hours. After that, between running security contracts and Payphone Hits and redoing the Dre series, which after a while you'll get into about 90 minutes, you could be looking at up to $550,000 to $600,000 per hour working actively, plus an additional $25,000 per hour of completely passive income. Rightio, so once you've grabbed the property that suits, head on over and wander in, where you'll be presented with an absolutely brilliant cutscene. Do not skip it, Lamar is fantastic. After that, you'll be dropped into your office and you can have a bit of a wander around. Starting down one floor, which is actually the entrance where you'll typically start from, we have our main reception area. Not much here, but it's pretty welcoming. Up one floor is the client and executive area, where we can find Franklin's office, Chop's hangout, a boardroom, and our new office, which is where we can access the computer and collect our passive income. And heading up the stairs to the top floor, we have the staff workspace and rec area. This is where we'll find the armory if you've grabbed it, including the gun safe and our new arms dealer. We can also collect snacks from the kitchen, take a few moments in the lounge, or use our personal quarters if you've purchased them. As a neat little aside, you can see Imani smashing code over there too. So heading to one of the elevators next, which you can find on the top or bottom floor, and down to the garage. From the first basement level, we can see the company SUV and Armored Jubilee, the workshop, and the garage area management console. There's often a couple of other cars or a motorcycle up here, but unfortunately they belong to other staff, so we can't use them. Heading downstairs, we have our main garage area, where most of our personal vehicles will be stored as we acquire them. So when you're ready, head to the middle floor where you'll find your office. Make sure you're registered as a VIP, MC Club President, or a CEO, and then head to the computer and sit down and log on. At this point, we're not going to be able to start the Dre storyline, so we have to do a quick security contract instead. Franklin will pipe up and give you a bit of a briefing on the application, and when you're prompted, click Security Contracts on the top left. There's another quick briefing where you'll be prompted to select a security contract, have a look through and pick one you like, or, the one that pays the most. Click the Accept Contract button bottom right, and you'll be pulled back out of the PC. Head downstairs and into the free mode lobby. After a few moments, you'll receive a call from Franklin, which will take you through the mission, so listen to it carefully, it's important. Follow the instructions to complete the contract, and then head back to the agency, where you'll get a quick attaboy from Franklin, and the job's done. After that, head downstairs and exit the building. After a few moments, you should get another call from Franklin, prompting the start of the storyline proper. Head over to the Los Santos Golf Club when you're ready to get started. After a bit of a cutscene and a game of keep away with the golf carts, you'll sort out our new friend, get a quick cutscene, and that will be the setup complete. Fun as it was, we don't have to do this one again though. Take a breath for a few minutes, maybe go load up with ammo, and await another call from Franklin. Once you've heard from him, head back to the agency, where we'll get another cracking cutscene and a bunch of information, so sound up and pay attention. After Lamar has finished making a tool of himself, head downstairs to your office, log on to the PC again, where you'll get a bit more of a brief from Imani and have a new option, VIP contract. Give it a click when you're ready, and that will reveal the first setup mission. Now this is an interesting format. We have a setup mission, then 3 distinct chapters for the next setup series, each with 3 separate missions, followed by a raid on Record A Studios, and the finale, a hangar in Los Santos International. Now I won't go through the individual missions in this video, that's a bit much to cram into one vid, but there are detailed walkthroughs linked in the description below. Once you've completed the finale, you'll catch some sweet new work from Dre, and also receive $1.7 million for your troubles. On each subsequent playthrough, it's $1 million. Now the first time through, it will likely take you around 5 hours in total, maybe a little more depending on your skill set, and after, you're probably looking at under 90 minutes for a complete round. So that works out to about 660k per hour, which absolutely trumps KO after the last round of nerfs. On to security contracts next. Now, I know we touched on these before, but we should go through them in a bit more detail. So there are 6 distinct types of security contracts. That's asset protection, where you fend off attackers and protect some sort of cargo or shipment. Gang termination, where you assassinate high-level gang leaders. Liquidize assets, which is a straight-up destruction fest. Recover valuables, where you, strangely enough, recover an asset. Rescue operation, which has you collecting a VIP. And vehicle recovery, where you, in fact, recover a vehicle. In addition to the 6 contract types, there are 3 different grades of difficulty, with the easiest, professional, paying $31,000 to $42,000 per run. Specialist paying between $44,000 and $56,000, and finally the most difficult, Specialist Plus, paying between $60,000 and $70,000. So when you're ready, you can either head to your computer in the agency office or give Franklin a call to request a security contract. Pick the one that pays out the most, then wait for a briefing. The rest is just a case of following the bouncing ball. The security contracts are very much like VIP work in regular free mode and typically take around the same time as air freight or haulage. So as far as bang for your buck goes, they're pretty good. The really good news though is they only have a 5-minute cooldown. So if you're good, you can rail through 4 or 5 of these in an hour. If you intersperse them with Payphone Hits, which we'll get to in a moment, they can really crank up the earnings. Speaking of earnings, there's one more aspect to the security contracts we should cover. So you may have noticed a safe in your agency. This is where your passive income is deposited every in-game day or every 48 real-world minutes. And here's where it gets really interesting. For every 5 security contracts you do, regardless of difficulty, the amount deposited in your safe each in-game day will increase by $500. So after you've completed 5 contracts, $500 will be deposited. After 10, 1,000, and so on all the way to 200 contracts where you'll be receiving the maximum deposit of $20,000 per in-game day. It's a hell of a grind to get there, and at a minimum of around 50 hours. But that $20,000 will keep rolling in every in-game day forever. That is, in addition, of course, to the $12 million or so you'll likely have earned through doing the contracts to get you to that level of passive income. So yeah, not bad. Okay, next on the list is Payphone Hits. Anyone who's done the Lester assassination missions in story mode knows where this is going, but this is essentially another type of VIP work. Now, you don't need to be a VIP or an MC club president or a CEO for this one, so it's a great free mode activity if you've got a few minutes or your lobby's CEO quota is maxed. But you do need to complete 3 security contracts to unlock this mode. Assuming you finish 3 security contracts and have received the subsequent phone call from Franklin, as you're moving around the map, you'll notice these blue payphone icons pop up periodically. When you see one, head over to the marker, pick up the phone and listen to the brief. And I mean really listen to it. There's key information in there that will help you maximize your earnings. If you don't quite catch it though, you'll receive a text with a bit of additional information when you start heading towards the target. All up, there are 8 distinct targets, each with 3 different possibilities for the assassination method. So that's 24 different mission types in total. And once you practice, these will only take a few minutes each. Now, if you follow the instructions and take out the target using the method that Franklin asks you to, you'll score a whopping $85,000 for your trouble. If you botch it or are a bit lazy and the target's not killed using Franklin's suggestion, you'll only receive 15 grand. So it's imperative that you pay attention and follow instructions. Once you've carried out the hit, there's a 20-minute cooldown, and after that, you can wait for another one to pop up, or you can call Franklin on the phone and request another. Still with me? Fantastic. Next up, we're looking at possibly the biggest change to online since the release. The availability to play as someone other than your character. So sometime after you've completed the story, you'll receive a call from Dre, and then another call from Franklin inviting you to Record A Studios. Now these are 2-person missions, so I highly recommend doing this part with a friend. You can try this on your own if you don't have anyone to kick around with, but it means playing with randos, and that rarely ends well. So when you're ready, either head over to the F on the map or start the short trip seed capital job from the pause menu. You'll get a pretty decent cutscene, which I recommend watching on your first playthrough, and after that you'll be dropped into Franklin's perspective if you're the lead, or Lamar's if you're the second. Then you can just start blasting and having fun. Once you've completed the first mission, you can either head back to Record A or jump onto the pause menu for the subsequent missions, Short Trips, Fire It Up, or OG Kush. There's not a lot of cash in these ones, but it's a heck of a lot of fun, so I recommend doing them at least once or twice. Rightio, next on the list is Imani Tech, which is, unsurprisingly, named after master hacker Imani. This is an add-on that you can fit to specific vehicles on your workshop that will do one of 2 things depending on which option you choose. Which vehicles, I hear you ask? At the time of recording, it's the Panard Elec Ruse, Bravado Buffalo EVX and the STX, the Maibatsu Monstrosity, Grossi Itali GTO Stinger TT, the Ocelot Virtue, the Annis 300R, Obey Omnis EGT, Bravado Greenwood, categorically the best car in the game, the Declass Granger 3600 LX, Mammoth Patriot Milspec, Enos Deity, Debauchy Champion, and the Enos Jubilee. Right, on to the upgrades themselves. So the first mod is a lot of fun and a bit of a griefer's dream, to be honest. Fitting a remote control to a full-size vehicle at $235,000, essentially creating a giant RC Bandito complete with self-destruct. It's locked into first person though, which isn't great for third person people, but it does get you kind of off the radar and can be handy if you've fitted weapons to the vehicle too. To use this, when you're in free roam, open your interaction menu, that's M on your keyboard, double squares on your Xbox controller or swipe on your PlayStation, scroll down to inventory, remote control vehicles, then select RC personal vehicle, and you'll be kicked over to first person view in the car. From there you can just drive, more or less as normal. The next Imani Tech piece is a bit of a counter to the Mark II oppressor, the missile lock-on jammer at a whopping 400 grand. This prevents any type of homing missile from locking onto you, including missiles from a Sparrow and a Mark II oppressor, as well as regular shoulder-mounted homing missiles. While this doesn't make you impervious to missile fire, it means whoever is attacking you needs to manually aim to be able to do some damage, which knocks out about 90% of the try-hard Mark II griefers out there. Nice. And while we're on anti-griefing countermeasures and safety, there's a couple of other things Imani has set up, which is kind of neat. Both of these can be accessed when you're outside in the free roam lobby by opening your phone, going to contacts, scrolling to Imani and giving her a call. So the first service Imani will offer is out of sight mode. This is sort of like a semi-permanent off the radar for a very specific area. When you activate it via the phone, it will cost $12,000 and you'll be off the radar for as long as you stay inside a 500 meter diameter, don't attack anyone, stay alive, and stay in the same session. Once you've fired this up, if you head to the map, you'll see this grey circle with a 500 meter diameter, with the center being where you first activated the service. This is your off the radar area, where you will not appear on the map to other players. If you attack a player that is outside your organization or MC club, or die for any reason, the service is stopped and you'll become visible. If you change sessions, the service is also stopped. In a surprising move, you can leave the protected area and re-enter at any time. You'll appear on the radar if you're outside the area, but the moment you wander back into the grey circle, you'll disappear from the radar again. Just note that if you do something that cancels the service, that is, attack another player, die, or change session, there's a 10-minute cooldown, which can be a bit of a pain in the backside. The other thing that Imani has teed up is the ability to source a motorcycle at a cost of $2,000. This is more or less as it sounds. When you select this service, you'll see a new map marker appear which shows the location of a motorcycle with bulletproof tyres. This is handy if you need to make a quick getaway under fire, as the cops won't be able to shoot out your tyres, and nor will other players. One last thing before we get to the pro tips. The concierge service. Similar to the CEO's office, motorcycle club, penthouse and yacht, the agency also has its own services which you can use for a nominal fee. You can access these services by either wandering over to the reception area in your agency, and there are 3 options available. Exit via personal vehicle, which does more or less as it says on the tin. Exit via helicopter, which allows you to select a helicopter to pick you up on the roof, giving you full control of the chopper when you leave. The Volito is free with this service, or you can use another heli for a small fee. And the SUV service, which is a fast travel service that allows you to spawn in one of a number of locations around the map. This is really handy if you want to go like way north. Once you're outside, there's a similar set of services available via Franklin. All you have to do is open your phone, go to contacts, select Franklin, and once Mr. Clinton picks up, you'll get a new menu top left. Putting aside the job requests, there are 3 services again. Company SUV, which spawns the armoured SUV nearby, which is really handy if you're under pressure. The SUV service, so that's same as before, more or less a quick travel. And a supply stash, which orders a supply drop containing health, armour and ammo at a cost of $5,000. Pro tips next. So first up, like most other businesses, if you're registered as a CEO, VIP or president, The game assumes you're actively running one of your businesses, and that can leave your other businesses open to raids. So if you're not actively working a business and you're not doing something that expressly requires you to be registered as a CEO, VIP, or MC president, then you should resign. This significantly reduces the chances of having stock stolen or otherwise destroyed where you're not actively working the agency. And AFKing is a great way to grind out some of those hours for that purely passive income. If you've not heard of the term before, it means away from keyboard, which is the practice of keeping the game open without actually participating in it. Now, the more experienced of you will know that after 13 minutes of inactivity, Rockstar will terminate your session and boot you from online. But there's a way around it. If you have an LS Car Meet membership, which you can get for $50,000, you can head to the test track. Once you're in, simply reverse back out and head back up the ramp. You'll be dropped into an action menu. When that pops up, just do nothing. Just leave your PC or your console on that screen and your session won't terminate. My standing record for AFKing this way is around 2 days straight. And if you don't have an LS Car Meet membership, you can do something similar at the casino. Head to the ground floor entrance, hop out of your vehicle and return it to storage, then walk in the front door. You'll get this interrupt screen asking where you want to go and just leave it there, you won't be booted. Well, damn, that was a bit to take in. It certainly was a massive task to put this guide together. So if you found it in any way helpful, drop a like and a comment below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you in the next video.